Hello. George Anson joined the Royal Navy at the age of 15. He rose rapidly through the ranks, lieutenant, commander and then commodore. When war with Spain broke out in 1739, Anson was given orders to sail around Cape Horn to attack and harass Spanish shipping and possessions. He was furnished with just 6 warships: the Centurion, Gloucester, Severn, Pearl, Wager and Trial, plus 2 supply ships, Anna and Industry, and with 500 troops, largely made up of new recruits with little or no training, and invalids from the Royal Chelsea Hospital, some of whom had to be stretchered on board. This rough and ready squadron sailed from Spithead, Portsmouth in September 1740. At Madeira, the Industry, having used up her supplies, sailed for home. Heavily loaded for the long journey, the remaining ships rode so low in the water they were unable to open their gun ports. Air holes were cut, but without proper ventilation, in tropical conditions, rations began to decompose. Flies, lice and rats infested the ships. Typhus and dysentery soon spread in quarters overcrowded with troops in addition to crew. Reaching Brazil, Anson moored and set about deep cleaning his vessels. Hatches were closed and controlled fires lit to fumigate below deck areas. Then everything was washed down with vinegar. Battling gales and wild seas rounding Cape Horn, with crews weakened from scurvy, the squadron became separated. Severn and Pearl managed to maintain contact, but both vessels were severely storm damaged, and with no certainty the rest of the squadron had survived, decided to turn back and return to England. Centurion, Trial, Gloucester and Anna managed to rendezvous at a prearranged location in the Pacific. HMS Anna only just made land and was in such poor condition she was broken up. The Wager was driven aground in an unmapped bay in Chile and began to take on water. Her captain, Dandy Kid, had died. Lieutenant David Cheap had assumed command, but spent most of his time sick in his cabin. Of the Wager's crew, just 29 sailors and 7 marines eventually made it back to England. After carrying out repairs, Anson's reduced squadron set sail. Centurion's first victim was a Spanish merchant ship. A second surrendered to Trial, who renamed her Trial's prize, transferred her guns and scuttled the Trial. Centurion captured a further 2 vessels. Anson, a disciplined military officer, treated his prisoners well and put them ashore when the opportunity arose. After a successful raid on the port of Paita in Peru, the contents of a Spanish customs house were seized, one of the ships in harbour towed away and the rest sunk. Meanwhile, Gloucester had captured another 2 vessels, adding to a growing prize kitty. Anson knew a treasure galleon lay at Acapulco, but with the Spanish now on alert, it would not leave harbour, and Acapulco was too well defended to attack. The safest way home was westward via China. In early May 1742, Centurion and Gloucester with 6 prize ships set out to cross the Pacific. In unfavourable winds, both Centurion and Gloucester suffered damage, Gloucester so severely she had to be abandoned. Reaching Tinian Island, Centurion underwent makeshift repairs before continuing to China. The Chinese authorities disapproved of Anson's activities and initially refused to allow him to anchor and refit, but changed their mind after a high-ranking Mandarin came aboard and witnessed the firepower of the Centurion's 60 cannons. Aware his expedition had met with mixed fortunes, Anson decided to gamble on an attempt to intercept the treasure galleon from Acapulco. In June 1743, the Nuestra Senora de Covadonga was spotted and engaged. After a one-sided exchange of fire, the Spanish ship surrendered. She was carrying more than 1.25 million pieces of 8 and close to 36,000 ounces of silver. Arriving back in China, Anson sold the Spanish galleon before sailing for England, completing his circumnavigation to reach Portsmouth on the 15th of June 1744. Of the original crews, around 500 of the 1900 men who set off nearly 4 years before made it home. Back in England, Anson was a celebrity. He was invited to meet King George. Crowds gathered in London to see the captured Spanish treasure paraded through the streets. Anson's share of the prize money, 3/8 of the total, was around £91,000. Difficult to say what that would be worth in today's values. Let's just say it was a fortune. His salary as captain for the entire 45-month journey was £719. Ordinary seamen received prize money of £300, the equivalent of 20 years' naval salary. Awarded a peerage in 1747, Anson was promoted to First Lord of the Admiralty in 1751, where he introduced several far-reaching reforms. His fortune paid for 2 flanking pavilions to be added to the family mansion, creating the Shugborough Hall in Staffordshire, now in the care of the National Trust we're familiar with today. Lord Anson was buried at St Michael and All Angels Church, Colwich, not far from Shugborough, where there is a memorial. Not all admirals ended their careers with celebrity status. Next time, the loss of Minorca and disgrace for the admiral who took the blame and paid the ultimate price. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like and subscribe buttons and click on the notification bell to be informed when the next video is available, or you can subscribe by clicking on the rose window over my shoulder.